hang up your pants or do you put them in the roll?
Yeah, this is the time.
There we go. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It is Saturday morning here on the West Coast, Saturday evening in other parts of the world, and Saturday afternoon on the East Coast. I'm your host, David Dorian Ross, and this, as you might have figured out, is the Virtual Pipe Club weekly meeting. And these are the terrific guys in the Zoom room. Say hello, Zoom room guys.
Hey, everybody.
What's up?
Hey, everybody.
What's
Hello.
up? That's a good one.
What's up, everyone?
And they'll be hanging out and talking a bunch in just a second here. Today, we do not have a speaker, but that's okay because we've come up with something really interesting to do. And I'll tell you about it in a little bit.
I'll talk.
I forgot. I didn't catch who was that. Oh, that was David. It said David. So I'll go. I'm sure we have a lot of people who are expert and have plenty to share. So we'll get on that in just a second. But first, we're going to do our weekly ritual, going around the room, seeing who's smoking and who's smoking what and where. And then I have a special treat. I actually have put together a short video on the factory tour at Sutliff. So we didn't have a chance to show that when we did the episode on the Richmond Pipe Show. But as some of you may know, I was at the Richmond Pipe Show, and so are a few other people. Who else is here? Oh, Janos is here. Janos from Cyprus. This guy is here.
Janos.
This guy.
Welcome, Janos.
Is here. Janos is here. He's still connecting. I don't know if he can hear us yet. But let's see who else was there.
David was there. David Klein was there, right?
David Klein was there. Yes. So I'm going to ask David and if Alvin shows up to help me maybe narrate or comment on the video. But it's a fairly short video, about 10 minutes, to take us through the entire factory tour. It's fairly in sequence, so you get a chance to see what we saw as we went through each different part of the factory. And then we have another topic, which I'll wait and talk about when we get there.
Stuart was there too, wasn't he?
Who's that?
Stuart was there, wasn't he?
Stuart was there in spirit. Rich Gallagher is saying, hello, everyone waiting to see the tour. Yes. This points out my next comment, which was we are live streaming over there to Facebook and to YouTube if you happen to be watching. And if you were there at Richmond, by the way, we'll get a chance to see a few shots of Flat Cap Piper and Ladyfire, and they were there as well. So a bunch of people there, and if you're watching, say hello. Miguel, I hate to break you out of your obviously sort of chill attitude right there, but how would you feel about taking us through the what are we sharing, the virtual pipe pass around?
Yes, sir.
What do you think of that?
I'll be happy to do it.
Okay.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see y'all. Janos, welcome. And we are so happy to see you, that you can join us actually today. Well, with all these beautiful people. Okay, so I'll start my day with Dunhill, 2002 Dunhill Cumberland, 5202 chimney for Mike. In it, I am smoking a McBarron Original Choice. Where's my camera? Right there. Okay. And then if we have time, I have Castello Ciroc KK Virgin. And you probably know it changed the color right away.
Hold that Dunhill up. You can't see it over here. Or hold it to your right.
All right.
There you go. That's beautiful. Wow.
Thank you. It's a chimney. And then this mic actually changed the color after about, 10 bowls. And in it, I will smoke a Sabinelli 145. And I call it picante. It's actually kind of chocolate and chili. And I will pass the virtual pipe to our friend Steven Imas.
Thank you, Miguel. Well, since it's Saturday, I got all my Savinellis out, or some of them. And in all of them, I'm smoking HH Pure Virginia. As a matter of fact, it's the last of it. So I guess I'll have to take a look at the online people selling it. And I've got it in this 320 and in a 673. And of course, we can't leave Goff out with Bing's favorite. And I will pass the pipe off to David Ruiz. I think you're mute.
You might be muted.
Yeah, no, I was trying to do it, but I talked before, so it said, sorry, you cannot talk. And it was on top of the way of me clicking. All right. I'm going to be different to you guys. No more Sabinellis for me. Like Miguel, I knew Miguel was going to say his new 145 with the Sabinelli. Punto de Oro. We knew that. Just smoking a Dunhill Shell Group 3. Yeah, I'm smoking the Bird's Eyes Flake. It's from Formers. It's like a simple vapor. Yellow Virginias. And it's the mildest of the three from the former vapors. Like this orange one, the blue, which is the mid one, and the green one. This one is kind of like, probably you can see like bright Virginias a lot and a little touch of brick. So it's not really.
That's my favorite one for some reason.
I actually love it the most of the three at first when I tried, just because of the fact that it's not the typical hay, that you're smoking hay and that's it. It's like citrus and it's dark, even though it's only yellow Virginia. It's fruity. It's not too spicy. And I know when I open the three, I make a post on the Facebook, putting a picture of the three. You probably remember. And for some reason, I said that they were not too spicy or peppery. The more I've been smoking them for the last 2-3 weeks, it's with some oxygen, it's getting better and better. It's getting spicier. So those are the two things I'm smoking.
I think that the straight grain is the spicier one, right?
Yeah, the green one is the spicier one, and then the blue one, and then this is the mildest. The other two have red Virginia and this one yellow Virginia. But the difference between the blue and the green is the fact that the green, it's been stove. That's the difference between the green and the blue. I mean, they're amazing. Anyway, we were introducing ourselves only. So let's go with David Klein, since he's the first one.
Thank you, and good to see everybody again. And I spent an hour or two getting set up outside because I was going to sit out on my patio and do this outdoors. And it was just way too hot. So I had to come back in. And fortunately, my girlfriend doesn't mind if I smoke indoors. So that's working out okay. So what I'm smoking here is a 1940s Bryson radiator pipe. And I don't know if it's so shiny, it's hard to see the detail on it, but this was restored and refurbished by a fellow named Doug Bisbee in Tampa, Florida.
Sure.
And if you want to check out his work, go to dkmetalpipes.com. And he makes metal pipes look better than new. So this one's from the 1940s, but it looks like it's brand new. And then when I'm done with that, I think I'm going to smoke my Savinelli Giotto 207. This is the one I got at the Richmond Pipe Show. And when I was at the Richmond show, a fellow that I met there, he gave me a tin of this Savinelli Giubileo d'Oro. And he didn't like it, but I kind of do. And this the date on this is from September of 2015. And it was dry when I opened the tin after I got home. I think he bought it and set it aside. He didn't want to smoke it. But he gave it to me, and I kind of reconstituted. I just took a paper towel and got it wet, stuck it inside a plastic container, and kind of brought the tobacco back to life. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, I'll pass it over to Randall Arnett.
Thank you, David. I'm familiar with that name, DK Metal Pipes. There was a time when I think he was even doing something to make a cob bowl for a falcon or something like that. Anyway, he's been around a while. He does really good work.
Yeah.
Today I have our illustrious VPC club pipe, a real favorite. I love it. And we're working on some Amphora Virginia blend. Very nice tobacco. Excellent. Let's see. How about Mike? Mike, are you there? You're muted.
Thank you, sir. It's good to see everybody. David Klein, I like your shirt. So today I'm smoking my Ryan McCauley Smoking Barrel Briar Stack Canadian, which with what I call a nebula stem. I don't know if you can see that, but it's got this crazy acrylic, almost looks like a galaxy. And in it, I'm smoking some LJ Peretti London Flake. And then after that's done, I got the Moretti Morta Stack, which I love this. And after I smoke that, I'm going to probably smoke some Boston slices from Peretti on making a Peretti day.
Nice grain, Mike.
So let's go to Ivan. How are you doing over there across the pond?
Really well, thank you. Excellent weather today. Nevertheless, it was a day of sort of gardening around the balcony. Today, smoking my my ROP with a bone shaft and mouthpiece, which is I find really comfortable and very natural, and I really enjoy it. And I put in it Peterson's early morning pipe, though it's not anything but early here in London. But most of all, I want to show off the little graphic that I've used to cover over the death warnings on on my can of Peterson.
Just looking at that. What is that? That's cool looking.
I just clipped it off a magazine. It's like a fruit on a breakfast table, that sort of thing. Anyway, you do what you can to increase the enjoyment. Well, with this, how about let's see, raise hands. Oh, there we are. Let's go down under. Stuart, how are you today?
Good, thank you. And good afternoon, evening, or whatever you're enjoying at the moment. So this morning I'm smoking a Peterson, the 302 spigot. I picked the pipe, then I decided what to put in it. So I don't normally smoke aromatics with this. I thought I'd go to Bayou Morning. It's been a bit of a go-to vapor for me. People have talked about the fruit coming through, which it does, and I quite like that. So that's been quite good. We're going to experience quite a nice day today, so probably something in the high 70s. So for a fall day, that's pretty good for us. Anyway, let me pass it on. Who have we got? Sean, how about you? Sean Kearney.
Thank you. Right now I'm smoking a Vermont Freehand with some 14-year-old Samuel Gowitz St. James flake in it, which oddly enough, when I took it out of the mason jar last week, was still too wet to smoke, but leaving it out a week, it's finally gotten there. And then after this, I'm probably going to be smoking my Tim Heinrich. I might as well, because I see him on, pass it on to him.
Hey, Sean, welcome to the Virtual Pipe Club, to another fellow Sherlock Holmes member. Welcome. Happy you're here. So I started off today with this Peterson Deluxe 3S, and I smoked some McBaron vanilla flake in it. And I know the vanilla thing might make some people uneasy, but it is a really good tobacco, and I get mostly Virginia out of it with a nice vanilla aroma, just a hint of it. I'm really surprised this tobacco. I thought if anything was going to bite, this would be it, but it really doesn't at all. And right now I'm smoking this Il Chepo Bulldog, sandblasted Bulldog, and in it I have Peter Heinrich's Golden Slices, and I have to thank our fellow member David Martinez for this, because he was in a tobacco shop down there in Kentucky and came across this and, called me up and said, hey, what do you want? And picked a few things and he sent them, and it's just a really good blend. This pipe is just awesome. I mean, everything I put in, it just works really well.
Beautiful.
It's so fantastic.
Love the blast on it.
Yeah, the blast is really good. I'm really become a big fan of Il Chepo pipes. I think that they're very reasonably priced Italian pipe. They tend to be a little bit larger in size. They have great blasts on them. I'm really impressed with the blasts. And so, yeah, all good. So anyway, I am going to turn the virtual pipe over to another one of our new guests, Janos Kokinos. Welcome, Janos.
Hi there.
Another one of our new guests, Janos.
Yeah, I'm here. You listen me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes.
Okay. Hi to everybody from the still sunny Cyprus. And I finished my day with two of my favorite pipes. One is Bend Eskimo from Lady of Briar, the silver gray. And the other one is Wales, made in German by my friend Manfred Hortig. Okay, happy to be here with you. I watched you several times, but not live. Anyway, I passed the who is not sorry, but I can't see there any. Okay. They see. Sorry. Okay. I can't see any neighbor. One guy from Lebanon, Fadi. We are very, very close. Anyway, hi to you.
Afghanisto. Janos. I'm very, very happy to see you here. And I don't know if the others know that you are a great, great pipe maker, and I just love your work. And I'm really happy to be able to talk to you within this group, this fine group. So I greet everybody here, and I'm smoking. I've started with my Group 5 Daniel with a bowl of Escudo. And it seems that it will be a long smoking evening. So I've prepared three pipes and 3 tobaccos. The second one will be this Peterson Aran. And in it, I will smoke Artisan's Blend. And to finish the evening with this lovely Bruno Nutens, who is a French pipe maker. And in it, I will smoke I will smoke Stockton. which I received recently from the States, and I love this tobacco. That's it, and I will pass the virtual pipe to Perry.
Oh, thank you, Fadi. I'm already into a bowl of H.H. Balkan from McBaron's in this Escorti, fairly old pipe, almost 20 years old, that I got quite a while back. Smokes wonderfully. And like you, Fadi, I've got a 3-pipe lineup this morning for me. I'm also going to be smoking some Strauss Tobacconist in this Ali Barinji Meerschaum, and then follow that up, if there's some time, with some Peterson University Flake in my Stereo Liverpool.
Wow. Yes.
Love that pipe. That pipe's beautiful.
I love it.
A smaller pipe, but I love smoking it. And it's got a horn stem on it with a silver ring. So it's really, I like this pipe a lot. With that, I'll pass it on to Marco Buono.
Sorry. Hello from Denmark. I am smoking Billiard from made by Eltang, Tom Eltang. And in it, I'm smoking what I'm always smoke almost. It's the Oleg Golden Slice. And this one is a old tin from, I think it's 10 years old or something. And the fun thing about Oleg is I prefer it very young, or very old. So, yeah. Let me pass the... Can you hear me?
The name cut out when you said it.
Okay, let me pass the pipe to David Johnson.
Hello, everybody. I'm starting out today with my brand new Korean pipes made by Abdul Karim. I think I got his first name right. It's a gorgeous pipe. This section here is horn. And this is, it's either acrylic or lucite. I think it might be, I've been calling it a lucite, but I think it might be acrylic. Smokes beautifully. It's got a kind of thin wall on it, so the way I smoke, it kind of gets hot. I'm a clencher or a puffer, so I got to watch that. I've got my what I call my twisted blend in there right now, which is the black raspberry and vanilla mix that I cooked up. And then when I get done with that, I'm gonna use my Halloween Peterson, and I just might break out my something from Cornell and Deal to put in here.
Say, David, do you have the Halloween Peterson handy? Oh, wow. Okay, that's nice. Very nice. Is that 312?
I believe so. I think it was the 312 that I got.
Yeah, I didn't get one, but I think they're really nice looking.
Yeah, it doesn't say. It says K&P Peterson, but it doesn't have the number on it.
It doesn't have the stamp on it somewhere?
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It's a 307.
Oh, all right.
But I love it. I just love it. It smokes great. It really does. And I love the feel of the the Sandblast. It's just it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like my third Peterson, and all of my Petersons are wonderful smokers.
That's the new acrylic P-lip. What do you think of it so far?
I love it. Oh, I love it. It's wonderful. Fits well, smokes well, doesn't burn. It's so nice. It's just so nice. I had an anonymous friend a few months ago sent me a Peterson, and I think he turned me into a monster. I bought 2 cents. And,
here's a warning: it doesn't get any easier or go away. Trust me.
You can join Peterson Anonymous with Tim.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is anyway. I've done the same thing with the Savinellis. I bought 2 Savinellis, and I'm biting at the bit to get another one. But I'm just being a good boy and holding on to my money. Let's see. I'll pass the virtual pipe to our friend Alistair in Utica, New York.
Thanks, David. It's nice to be with you all on this misty, moisty afternoon in central New York State. I normally smoke outside, but I'm now in my sunroom. It's kind of a compromised position with my family. I am smoking some Amphora English in a pipe that probably we'll all recognize as our club pipe from 2020. When I'm done with that, I'm going to switch over to another Bones pipe, and I'll probably pack that up with some Haunted Bookshop. How about we pass it on to our friend Dimitri?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Well, I'm going to do unboxing. I just received this package from Missouri Meerschaum.
Oh, I want to see this.
We're all going to see the pipe that I'm going to smoke today.
I'm waiting for mine to come in the mail, too.
Okay. And here is the Corn Cob Nation Pipe of the Year.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That is extraordinary. Look at that. Wow.
And
those are great. Those are great.
I got this pin.
You got a pin.
And
I love pins.
I guess that can work as a Christmas tree ornament.
That's Corvus. Corvus.
And I'm going to smoke my Bachelor Rex Vincent mixture, which is English. And let me pass the pipe to Justin.
All right. Hello, everybody. Today I'm smoking my Meerschaum Church Warden. Get that into the camera.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I got it at a discount. It was actually one of the first pipes I bought because the treads in the stem here, it's a little kind of worn out. It looks like somebody kind of yanked it out before they sold it. So got it at a discount. I just use a little thread tape in there, holds it in there really good. And I'm smoking some Warped Cloud Hopper. I missed last week's meeting where we were talking about what blends we're smoking for the new season, and cigar leaf blends, baby. Woo! I want to pass the pipe on over to Dennis.
Hello, everyone. Smoking a standard corn cob with a loose side bit. I don't think there's anything special about it. Got Louisiana Red on the inside of it from Hearth and Home. Not a bad little Virginia Perique. If anybody wants to try it, price is good.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. For the money, And considering what taxes may happen, I'm trying to find a couple basic combinations that I might buy multiple pounds from before everything hits the fan here in the U.S. Who
Have
knows?
you tried AJ's Vapor, Dennis?
I have got it. That's what I'm going to be doing is one pipe with Louisiana Red and the other. I got 8 ounces of Louisiana Red and 8 ounces of AJ's. And I'm going to sit here and do flip-flops until I figure out which, in my case, will probably mean that I'll probably be buying both because I have 17 jarred tobaccos here that I got numbered, and I still am going nuts trying to figure out what am I going to live on if things happen, and I haven't got an answer yet.
I think AJ's has a little Cavendish in there, but the other ones that real cheap if you're looking for bulk is Sutliff 507C and Newminster 400 for more Virginias.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep playing with it because I love Viprati, but that's a little on the high side. And you're right, AJ's has got the Cavendish in it, so I'm going to compare it with Viprati back and forth and see if I can find a Virginia Perique that I like or like Englishes. I've got 6 or 7 Englishes. I can't figure out which one I like better. You know, I'm rather eclectic. What can I tell you guys?
Dennis, as you're talking about the stuff hitting the fan with the prices of tobacco, we've got a bunch of people over on the live stream who are living in Europe, and they're all laughing at you because they're like, I know, 30 euros
here we
for
are.
a 2-ounce tin or something. They're like, whatever.
Here we are in the U.S. complaining, and everybody else is sitting there going, yeah, right. You know, I think Miguel once said what pipe is caught, what tobacco is costing in Canada. So even with the taxes going up here, it's still going to be cheaper in the U.S. What can I tell you guys?
Yeah, Dennis is like, I got a pound for $40, and Miguel's like, I got a tin 2 ounces for 65.
Yeah.
I think the worst here,
Dennis, the answer is invest in a lot of ball jars and just buy them all.
Yeah.
I need to actually get a second mortgage to get some tobacco in Canada. Just let it.
Oh, Canada.
This group, the one who has the award of that is Stuart, where probably everything costs $65.
Exactly.
All right, let's see now.
So we've heard.
Who shall I pass this to? There's a gentleman down I see in my multiple screen down at the bottom who just seems to have his picture. So I'm not sure if he's here or just has his photo. But the reason I'm calling him is because he's Kilo Delta 8 Uniform Tango Alpha. You there, Dave? Okay, looks like, there he is.
You
there?
Here. But I figured nobody wanted to see me eating pork rinds. So
or hear it.
What I am smoking is nothing because I'm inside and it's kind of cool outside. So I'm just kind of listening and absorbing right now.
That's okay. Listeners and absorbers are welcome too. We also serve who stand and eat pork rinds. Miguel, who have we got left there, buddy?
Well, Ramachandran and Mike still have their hands up. You guys already gone?
Ramachandran and James at Stem and Briar.
And Dave.
Okay.
Dave already knew. Mike already talked.
I mean, I'll go again.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you all. Greetings to everybody. Today I'm smoking this huge Lorenzo Ompol. It's a fabulous pipe. It smokes very well. And if I'm able to pull through it in today's meeting, I'll go to my Missouri Measham Country Gentleman. And in this Lorenzo, as of now, I'm smoking McBaron's ODF, Old Dark Fight. And afterwards, I'll go in for C&D's Bayonet. So with that, I now pass it on to Dave Honeck.
Hey, folks. It's my first time here, but thanks for having me. I'm smoking.
Welcome, man.
Yeah, really great group. I just kind of new to the hobby and new to the group, and everybody's been awesome so far. So, and it's fortunate enough that I didn't have to go to work today. So here I am. Anyway, I'm going to start off with my Lorenzetti. It's a Titus. It's from Italy. I actually bought it in Miguel's hometown at the tobacco shop called Goodfellas. And
Dave, welcome, Dave.
Hey, yeah, and just to touch on his expensive tobacco, as in Saskatchewan, I'm also a Canadian. It's probably about half the price it is in Victoria. So I didn't buy any tobacco while I was there. Because $91 for 50 grams of house mixture seems like a little bit crazy to. Anyway, I'm going to start off with this Savinelli Doblon d'Oro. It's pretty nice. And then after that, I'm going to smoke my Peterson Sherlock Holmes Squire. Can't seem to get, there we go. And in that, I'm going to do the same thing as Perry is doing with my University Flake, because I really love that. It's probably my favorite tobacco. So thanks for having me, guys. And I'll pass the pipe on to Justin. Oh, you already went, did you not?
I did.
Oh, he's got a thumbs up, not a hand. Okay. Anyway,
I think
thanks, guys.
It stays up there, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a thumb, not a hand.
We have Glenn left. Yeah, we have.
There's a second page.
Yeah, we have Kent or James at Stem and Briar.
Okay, let's pass the pipe on to Glenn. Thanks, guys.
Hi, gang. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm smoking some 10-year-old pirate cake, which has survived very nice in a ball jar. And my pipe of the day is a Nording number 4 bent with boat tail. And I like the shape of this pipe. Smokes great. One of my favorites. And pass it on to, see, do I see any hands? I'll need some help. I don't see any hands.
Yeah, I think Kent hasn't. Yeah, Kent.
Good old Kent.
And then after Kent, we can pass it to James at Stem and Briar. Hi, Kent, you there?
I am driving today.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to listen on in, and if I have anything to say, I'll safely chime in.
All right.
But enjoying it.
Okay. Let's pass it to James at Stem and Briar.
Hi, everybody. Awesome being online. Rarely get the chance. I'm usually busy, so I'm doubling work here today. So in the shop restoring other people's pipes, and when I'm done, unfortunately I can't smoke in my shop, otherwise my wife yells at me. Due to the Richmond connection, I will be enjoying my Corpse Richmond show Dunhill from, I don't know, I think it's an 82 or 92 with some 1888 early day. And if you guys have restoration questions, I would be happy to answer what I can. So I've been doing this 10 years.
You have to put your info in the chat section so we can send you some work.
Yeah, we can send you some work.
Really easy. www.stemandbriar.com. I don't hide very well.
So, James, the question I have is why don't you come back and be our guest speaker and take us on a tour of your shop and like talk about the restoration that you do?
I can, yeah. On top of that, I actually have purchased and own a 1926 pipe factory that I bought from downtown Yulee's in Milwaukee. I've actually got a fully functioning 1926 pipe factory in my garage. So hopefully churning out briars shortly. It's only been 3 years of tuning it up, but it's getting close.
You definitely got to be a
definitely.
speaker.
Thank you for being here today. You're on the hook now, brother.
Yeah. All good. Count me in.
All right. Hey, Chris Plumridge, have you gone?
I am a non-smoker today. I live about just a short hop west of Elser, so the same weather that's afflicting him is afflicting us today. So I am also indoors. I'm just going to be a spectator today.
Nice to see you here. I think everybody went, and we can send it back to DDR.
What about Dave DeMoss?
Oh, Dave DeMoss?
A lot of Daves.
Lots of Daves.
I think Dave DeMoss actually the one with the still picture, with a look like a cowboy hat. He's not smoking. I think he's eating some pork rind, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
is that him? Yeah, that's the one. So I think everybody went. So we can send it to DDR.
Well, alrighty then. First of all, I want to welcome a whole bunch of people who are over there on the live stream on Facebook and YouTube. We got the guys from Ken Byron Ventures over there today. And, that means I may have to smoke some of this today.
What did you get?
This was a gift or a bonus from Chris Kelly when he finished up my pipes that I had commissioned from him. He had just received some of this from his buddies over there, and he said, I have too much, so I'm going to just give it to the next people who are getting their pipes. And I just happened to be the next one. It was like, I never win anything. Like, I don't play the lottery or anything like that. So this was very cool, but it's beautiful. Yeah. So in the meantime, what I'm smoking is, and I did this without even knowing that Janos was going to be here today. I have one of my Janos pipes here. And then
that is pretty.
Isn't this gorgeous?
Oh.
It really does. Like, this looks like cane weaving in there, but this is all sandblast.
The bamboo blend together with the pipe. That's awesome.
And the Syrian version, I believe so. It's the Goblin mixture. So isn't that Syrian version? Yeah. And then here's another Janos. It looks like a toilet, but I like it anyway. I really do. It's a great smoke.
Really makes such boring pipes, I must say.
It's like there's nothing artistic about this at all. And then this is my latest acquisition that you guys might remember.
I love that pickaxe.
Isn't this just? I have to admit, it's a little unwieldy to hold because it's hefty, right? And it's none of these are clenchers. Like, my dentures will fall out if I just try to do that. But but I'll be smoking these. And what I'm smoking today, starting off with my jar of McCraney's Red Ribbon, which is one of my favorite blends, and just a beautiful tasting Virginia. And I had been what they called husbanding, really parsing this out very, very sparingly because it's such a hard to find blend. But when I was at Richmond, I bought 6 more tins. So I'm going to town. On
Sorry, what's the blend again? It looks like a really nice, dark, very rich sort of.
It is. I'm going to try to see if the camera should actually focus. If I can get my.
Well, that's good.
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
American Barley. Is it? What's it called again, please?
It's McCraney's Red Ribbon. So it's Red Virginia.
Okay, thank you. I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's really, really, really good.
How much age is on that, though?
Speaking of really good tobacco, except for Mike, because he's the outlier. I'm talking about Scarecrow.
Very divisive.
I know. We have to have some controversy, at least a little bit. So the all the packages with the Missouri Meerschaums and the sample packs, which are approximately this size, full of the Scarecrow, have been mailed out. They're on their way. They should be there by Monday or Tuesday. So just so you know. Okay. Well, thank you guys. I picked up 2 or 3 recommendations of new tobaccos. The folks over there on Facebook and YouTube have been talking about. They're suggesting that the pork rinds thing was a great idea. We should just do the Virtual Pipe Club ASMR from now on. Just
smoke and crunch.
Smoke and crunch, exactly. I have put together a short little movie, and I'm going to cross my fingers that it actually works to play this. It is the tour of the Sutliff tobacco factory. So when I was at the Richmond Pipe Show, one of the things that they were doing is giving tours. We got a tour from Jeremy, it's a J word, who's the CEO of Sutliff. And he takes us through all the different areas of the factory. David, did you go on the Sutliff tour? David Klein?
Yes, I did. And however, I didn't get the good tour because I understand those who went with the chairman of the company got to see his private bar and his private stash in his office. And I missed out on that. The guy just dumped us off on the loading dock and we finished our tour. But I'm looking forward to seeing that.
This is actually a true story. This is the truth. So Jeremy is the new CEO of Sutliff, but he was formerly the CFO of the company, and he didn't give up that position. So now he is both CFO and CEO, and his first act upon becoming CEO was to build a bar in his office. He needed it. That does not show up on the video.
Production.
That does
That's style.
Does not show up on the video, but yes, it is good style. All right, so let's try it. And David Klein, if you it's Jeremy McKenna is the new CEO at Sutliff. So let me go ahead and push the button, cross your fingers. Let's see if it works. And let me know if you can hear it. Let's make sure it starts.
Can't hear it or see it.
How's that?
There you go.
You can see it.
Works.
I gotta get my purse.
Okay.
All right, so there's nothing but so exciting that happens here. This is shipping and receiving. Yay! So we were here a few years ago. We had part of the show in this building. One of the reasons why we don't is this part of the building was not here. This is like you're not allowed in it, or like federal agents will storm us and like get us because it's a bonded warehouse. Right? So why we got a bonded warehouse is Southern started importing and distributing some boutique premium cigar brands. And so with taxes and importations and stuff, we actually built a bonded warehouse. It's actually a humidor too, to help defer taxes for the cigar companies. So that's what that room is, and that's why we added another 10 outside and moved everyone outside. So this is all ship and receive, right? Everything starts here and ends here, really. So the building as itself is a big square, or a rectangle, really. We have 94,000 square feet under roof. The first part you're going to see is a lot of warehouse space, and then we'll really get into the manufacturing. And so, yeah, we'll just kind of walk around through the process. The first little bit, I'm going to bring you in what we call a cold storage room to start with. But then after that, we're going to walk past most of it because it's literally labels, finished tobacco, just shelves of stuff, right? But if you have questions, ask along the way. But it's just warehouse space. Okay?
When was the factory built?
They have a tiny bit of tobacco on storage there.
There's the Seattle Pipe Club rum and bourbon barrel aged.
Some people sometimes wonder when we, for example, put out Seattle Pipe Club, put out a bourbon barrel or a rum barrel, like, did you really put it in a barrel? Like, the answer is yes, here they are. There's tobacco in them. The label that's on them tells what's in it, as far as whether it's plum pudding or Mississippi River, or a special project. And it also normally has a date on it that it went in. So we know how long it's been in before we pull it out. So we buy in the bourbon and rum barrels. We also do, we've done a peach brandy barrel just recently from Missouri Beer Show. They call it Orchid Mist. It did really well. We're doing, we bought a tequila barrel for Russ Olet. We're giving the blending seminars with Hearth and Home for a special blend they're going to be doing soon that Russ wanted. So we're really playing around with the barrels and seeing the essence of the alcohol that we can mix with the tobacco, but not in a, hey, let's dump it on and sauce it. What we can bring into it. Some of that is for the FDA, meaning that as far as the FDA is concerned, we can't change any ingredients without paying a couple $1 million and waiting a couple years. So we're trying to find interesting ways to not change the formulas. We just happen to have to store in barrels that might have had bourbon in them at one time. So anyways, that's what's going on there, is we're storing that. Those are not sweet barrels. We have those in the next room, a few of them out. Boxes, shipping boxes are where you might need the box. Good. Not do that. So you can come touch it, smell it, do whatever you'd like with it. The raw leaf, you can do the same. You can touch it. So this barrique in particular came from Mark Ryan, who's helping with the blending seminar. It comes out of Louisiana, out of his farms and factories. This steam chamber is a little different than the one opposite of it. This one creates a vacuum. So creating a vacuum, it sucks the moisture all the way through the bale in the shape that it's already in. So we don't have to steam down into the barrel. Normally after 24 hours we turn the barrel. So what's on the bottom turns on the top, and it becomes the top of another barrel. It cooks for another 24 hours. While they're opening the vacuum chamber, they didn't clean it, they probably did stuff in here. So these parts are actually, they have to put the nail on to go into the, they throw them in here just so it looks pretty. You gotta Latakia that in general is going to be used in blending. We use Latakia also, we do sell our straight, and you can buy it by the pound or by the ounce. But most of it we use on and further processing. Okay? So while we're standing here and I have everyone's attention,
steaming hot Latakia coming through those machines. The smell was fantastic. I just wanted to live there. I'd like to be a mouse living in that factory.
exactly the size of the block fits exactly through the feeder. Back in the day, you would see the dip chaser, the belt dryer, and all three of these presses and cutters would be running non-stop to get out to mix 279. That one runs pretty quick. In the middle, the two beautiful ladies, the one, Carolyn, and Maria, they're doing handwork for Canada. So Canada, if you pass by that table, has a really pretty health warning that has people stay from. So, you'll see it, you guys in the back there, the green with the shirt on, the green with their hair clean out. Or, tobacco help, they bring out, those guys walk around the warehouse wall, and tobacco walks it up, and it all. That's what they're doing. They're walking through the inventory, grabbing everything, shipping it all. In ways that we had it refurbished and put up here. It works the same way as the cutters you saw, just slower. There's actually, but it uses brass belts. There's a huge brass belt on the top and on the bottom that you can't lift by hand unless you're really, really strong. Even then, I question you. And so you see the mouthpiece, again, really the infeed starts wide, and then you see the mouthpiece again, so you're getting that compaction, as I talked about, on the tobacco before you cut it. So we didn't have a use for it besides to put it up here and call it a museum. If you're curious about our parent company on the wall here in this poster, this is the huge metropolis of Svendborg, Denmark. McBaron Tobacco is right next to the horse stable. These are their warehouse, their tobacco warehouses. This is, was their main office. This is another office that they've now doubled on top of it. This is their manufacturing plant, and they've now, I think they bought this whole field to expand onto. So this is McBaron, an aerial view in Spenberg, Denmark. For those of you that
We can't hear you, DDR.
Media, I think
my wife turns that off from the inside the house. There's the end of the movie. Nothing fancy about that exit there.
Who was the gentle giant at the end?
So I just wanted to point out about that I warned you guys before I went to the Richmond Pipe Show that I am shorter in real life than I look on camera, but that's not how short I actually am. It's because Bob is like 8 feet tall. That's Law Dog.
Yeah. That's Law Dog.
That's Law Dog. He is a gentle giant, and he's a beautiful, wonderful soul. And it was really awesome to meet him in person there. His wife was there, and he's. I don't think I'll be talking out of turn because most people know that he had a little bit of a health challenges last year, and he's feeling much better, and he's back to work, and he's back at the shows, and so we're glad to see him. Well, David Klein and I would be delighted to answer any questions if you have, or if you're like, okay, I've seen enough of Richmond, then we can go on to the next topic.
Oh, never enough.
Well, let's talk about it a little bit.
So DDR, what's the connection between Sutliff and McBaron?
They're going to raise a ruckus.
So, hold on a second. Boom. McBaron is the owner of Sutliff. They I'm not quite sure how long ago they acquired them. So they are the parent company, but Sutliff operates here in the United States or in North America. And there's a number of things that McBaron can't do outside of Europe for their own tax reasons and whatnot. So they have an operating entity here in North America that can do a lot of this stuff. And then what they do with the McBaron products is they ship them and sell them as, I guess, as imports in a way.
Okay.
And by the way, speaking of acquisitions, I did mention this last week or the week before, that Sutliff has acquired tobaccopipes.com. And they are now not wholly owned. They bought a majority share. The two founding guys are still owners and still very much. They told me they have no plans on exiting, so they're going to be around for a long time. But all of the inventory and the shipping department and everything else is there at Sutliff on the second floor, and they would very much like to keep connected with us at the Virtual Pipe Club and do specials for us and do some custom branding, some custom orders, some discounts for us. So look for that in the future. That's coming. What else? Anything else?
Sounds great.
When I turn it over to the other camera, so that you guys can ask questions, somebody has to talk. Otherwise, it does that Twilight Zone thing. So just pick it up there. Tim, you're in charge.
Oh, well, where do we go from here? Do we want to move on to a topic, or do we want to continue the discussion about Sutliff and other things?
I've just got a quick question, seeing that I was right at the back of the tour group there. The cutting of the flake, was that all automated, or was there a part of human interaction there as well?
At that point, I believe, and David, if you have a better perspective on this than I did, so when they were cutting the Kringle flakes or Kringle cakes, whatever, they were feeding it into the machine by hand, but then the machine itself did all of the cutting mechanically. But you could see that there was on the prep table already cut into long blocks, and then they would cut it into the size that goes in the tins after that. Probably because you might have noticed that as we went on the tour, how old all those machines are. Over 100 years old probably for most of those machines. And so some of the ways that they package tobacco today wasn't a thing 100 years ago. And so there's still a manual process involved in some stages of it.
Yeah, that guy who was slicing I guess it was the Kringle cake, it was a machine that he would turn a crank and move it out a few millimeters, and then the blade would come down and make a perfect cut like a guillotine. And then it would go back up, and he'd turn the crank again a few cranks to bring the cake forward. So and then they had I think it was like a 40-ton press that they used to compress it into the cakes. And I think they said they had bags of tobacco already ready, and they would pour them in, compress it down, and leave it for 2 or 3 days, I think. And then it would come out into this heavy slice that they picked up. It was like maybe almost like 2 feet long and 12 inches wide, and they passed it around. I think people were tempted to slip one into their backpack, but I don't think anybody did. But it was so interesting. And the whole thing as a tobaccophile, just seeing how they make it, how they produce it, the old time machines that they use, and so much hand labor, it was really, really impressive. And the smell, just the aroma of being in that building was fantastic.
Did they say anything about whether those machines can even be replaced anymore?
No, the machines are so old, there aren't any spare parts. And so if something breaks, they have to take the broken part to a machine shop and have a brand new one fabricated.
Oh, wow.
And so it's I don't know, it's overwhelming to think about how they do all that.
I wonder how often they have to sharpen those blades.
I don't know.
I have a question concerning the pipes that we saw on the shelves. I saw some pipes on the shelves with the tobacco bags and the tobacco tins. Were they for sale? They were selling these pipes, or they just exposing them?
At the factory,
showing them.
At the factory there, everything that you saw was just on display. So they do, have pipes that they import and then wholesale out to different of their clients that they distribute to throughout the country. But it was really interesting. There's a great question, Fadi, because at the show, they had taken some of those jars out to the tables where you could buy some samples, right? So you could get some samples out of there, but they weren't actually selling anything else. Like I wanted a T-shirt. I was about ready to tackle somebody and take his T-shirt off, and they said, "No, we don't even have T-shirts that you can buy." So all that stuff was just for museum, display purposes. Bunch of old farts like us walking through and looking at everything. And
they did have racks and racks of pipes in color-coded plastic bins. On DDR's video there, it didn't show it, but there was a whole area of the warehouse that was pipes that were in little plastic sleeves, and they were tucked in all of these cubbyhole bins on the wall. And that was pretty interesting, but different brands, and some of the brands I was not familiar with.
Now that you mentioned that, David, you're right. I didn't see that part. I didn't film that part. I don't know whether they would be downstairs in the Sutliff factory, if they'd be upstairs with the tobacco pipes inventory. But I've got my other pipes that I bought from Janos and from Tobacco Pipes in the cleaning bin. But Tobacco Pipes has got all of those wonderful pipes that we saw when they were the guest speakers here, and just tons and tons of stuff that they do have there at Sutliff. Lots of different varieties.
They had cigars too that I'm not much of a cigar guy, but I think they store cigars, and I don't think they make any cigars there, but they warehouse them, and they must wholesale, I guess.
Oh, that was that bonded warehouse he was talking about, I think.
Yes, and I confess that I didn't capture this, but they actually have these massive logo posters up on the wall there of the different tobacco brands that they used to carry, and some of them have switched out, and so that they do carry, and some of them are just really premium tobacco. I wonder, Dimitri, are you still here? Do you know which cigar brands that Sutliff carries?
No, actually, I don't remember.
We put this on record that Dimitri does not know something about tobacco.
Yeah, well, they don't make cigars, but they are authorized distributors for some cigar brands. I don't remember which one.
Okay, that was a decent save there, Dimitri. But yes, I think we should mark the calendar for this day.
It won't happen very often, so take note.
Cool. What other questions? Anything else that you guys wanted to know about the?
Did you maybe meet the blender for Sutliff? I think that would be a fabulous guy to talk to.
We did not. We did ask about them. They're so what they did say was that most of the blending happens elsewhere. So Sutliff does a lot of blending for other companies. So Seattle Pipe Club, for example, they send their formulas to Sutliff, and then Sutliff puts it together there, blends it, processes it, packages it, and then then we get a tin that says Seattle Pipe Club. But it's done there in Richmond, and they don't actually have. David, do you remember? I think he said they don't actually have a blender on site that does that. They have guys who make up the formulas, and then it's like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Somebody in the middle of the night with armed guards. No, I just made that part up. Do the actual dumping everything into remember, this is industrial size. So the smallest batches they do are like 100 pounds of stuff at a time. And mostly a lot bigger than that.
I don't remember about the blending, but our tour guide did mention that they have their own people that go out to the tobacco fields and select the tobacco, and they grade it by A, B, C, D quality and so forth. And they only buy the top quality, but that's a judgment of their of their own people that just have the experience of going out and looking at the tobacco and making a decision about the quality of the leaf. And then
that would be a heavy job.
We did have the blending seminar was very interesting, and that was a guy named Russ Willett who led the thing, and then
ever heard of him?
Perique producer.
He's Pipes and Cigars.
Was his name Evans? I can't remember his name. The guy,
Mark Ryan.
Ryan, the guy who did he was real interesting. He talked about how they manufacture the Perique and the troubles they've had with the recent flooding and hurricanes and all of that stuff, and how they manage their product from one season to the next. He was very interesting. And so when we did the blending seminar, they had, red Virginia, burley, different cuts of burley, and then they gave us a packet of 18-year-old Perique, and they had scales there, and they had tins and little paper liners, And they just let us do our own thing and pick out a little bit of what we wanted, put it in the tin, fold in the paper. I didn't know how to make mine fold so nice and pretty the way the tins look when you open a fresh tin. But then they had a machine there that sucked all the air out, sealed it tight. And I've got my tin in the drawer over there that they said don't smoke it for at least a month. And I'll leave it for a few months and then give it a try. But I know nothing about blending. I was just winging it totally. But it was very interesting.
So you guys got to leave with your own blend?
Yes.
Oh, how awesome is that?
That is cool. Super cool.
Did you just randomly pick, or did you keep note of how you did it in case you made a winner?
I took notes. And
right on.
So here's my tin. And they just gave us the tins, gave us the little cupcake paper liner. And so I wrote down, they gave us a sheet of paper to write notes on. So it's got the 2003 Perique, Virginia, Burley, Dark-Fired Kentucky, and Red Virginia are the tobaccos I put in there. And I wrote down how many grams. They had a little electronic balance there that as you added the tobacco in, and they said it should total 42 grams. So you just picked what you wanted, put it in there. I had no idea what I was doing, but it'll be interesting to see. Maybe if I save it for 10 or 15 years, it might be good. Who knows?
That's awesome.
So they have their they have their own tobacco buyers, I guess you'd call them, that go out right in the field and I suppose sample it, observe it.
This has been the way that the tobacco industry has historically run.
Right.
A lot of those, there is. I'll by the way, I'll put this tour up on the YouTube channel at virtualpipeclub.com, so you can just go and watch it again if you want to, or spend some time in some of the sections. At the very end there, when we're in the showroom, there's this giant wall-size photo of what I'm guessing is McBaron or something. It's evidently an auction house where you can see stacks of different leaf from probably different farms. And so that would be the way that historically people would go and buy when, back in the day, when it wasn't all hard to get and some of the tobacco, was still grown in exotic places with very distinct kinds of flavors. And so they'd go and they'd see it, they'd sample it. And if you were lucky enough, or big enough to have buyers to do that, they'd go out to the farms and inspect it like this. So,
well, actually, even now, a lot of times it's sold exactly the same way. They have the auction, so they offer, let's say, like 100 pounds of this kind of tobacco from this farm, and people bid on it. But some tobacco blenders and tobacco manufacturers actually have special arrangements with the tobacco growers where they can select tobacco from the farm, but majority still by the old-fashioned way.
I think in the heyday, the tobacco auctions, the government, the U.S. government, sanctioned and controlled those auctions way back when it was more of a thing than it is now.
Let me interject real quick. I grew up in Richmond and lived there probably 40 years. I went there in the mid-50s with my family when my dad moved there. Richmond used to be a huge, huge tobacco processing area. Virginia used to be a large tobacco producer, even back from the pre-Civil War and that time. They grew tobacco inland. They put it up in large hogsheads. They put it in these specially arranged boats called bateaux that they then brought down the Kanawha Canal, which still exists in Richmond. They've renovated a lot of it in the downtown area, if you had a chance to go on any tours down there. They'd bring these bateaux down and unload these giant hogsheads. They're about the size of a Volkswagen. full of tobacco. Downtown Richmond, in the area down, it was called Shaco Slip, and up into Church Hill, all along the river was lined with tobacco factories. And the smell that people experienced in the Sutliff factory used to permeate that area of downtown Richmond. In the early days, in fact, Richmond became a center for publishing and printing, driven in large part by the fact that the printers were producing labels for tobacco products. So it was a huge, huge part of that economy. A little further out of town from the Sutliff factory is Philip Morris. It's called the Tria today. It used to be when you drove down 95 and drove past that, the area was filled with the aromas of tobaccos being processed. So it was a huge, huge business in that part of the world. I've actually been in a tobacco warehouse like the one we saw the picture of that was out in a small town about 40 miles west of Richmond called Farmville. And they had almost acres and acres of huge warehouses where the tobacco growers would bring their product in. It would be stacked, and you'd walk down the aisles. There'd be huge piles of tobacco, and they'd all be labeled. Many of them were graded by the folks who graded those things. And it was an auction just like any other auction. They had an auctioneer there calling out prices, and people were buying it. And somebody'd buy it, and they'd stick a label in this giant haystack full of tobacco that they would buy and take it off. Now, last time I was in those buildings, they've been converted to a furniture store called Green Fronts out in Farmville, Virginia. But the building still smelled like tobacco from the 100-plus years that they'd put these things in there. So tobacco as an industry was a huge, huge thing in Richmond for, hundreds of years until it began to sort of trail off. Those tobacco factories, Lucky Strike was one of them. There was a big building down in downtown Richmond, for many years had a big sign, Lucky Strike, painted on the outside. Those little warehouses have been converted into some condos now, and they're all converted into, the whole area is gentrified. But it's a very interesting change in how, as the tobacco economy has changed, the buildings have been repurposed when they could.
I wonder what they had to do to get the tobacco smell out of the condos. Yeah.
I don't really know, to tell you the truth, but they did, and they're beautiful condos. I have some friends.
Yeah, why get rid of the good things?
Let me guess, they're non-smoking condos.
Be much more enjoyable if it smells like tobacco.
Yeah, pay extra for the one they didn't fix.
That's right. They pay extra.
Yeah,
for the aroma. Super. We've still got some time left before we head into maybe another topic or continue with some of the questions. And by the way, we still have a bunch of guys over there on Facebook and YouTube, and thank you for sticking around. You guys are just as much a part of this conversation as the folks here in the Zoom room. So please don't forget that if you have questions about the tour or about any of the, like John, I had no idea were such a wealth of knowledge about the Richmond tobacco scene. See, these guys are the folks that you want to ask questions, not me. I'm a no brainer. But please go ahead and ask those questions. A couple of announcements before it gets too late and I forget about them. Next week, we are scheduled to have Bill Furabach from K. Woody to be our special guest speaker. I have to say I'm still waiting for confirmation from Bill that that date and time works for him, but so far he's on the schedule for it. So we'll be able to talk about the K. Woody brand and some of the stories that he has to tell. And I know I've got some K. Woodies in my collection, and I'll bet some of you guys do too. So bring them out and we'll talk about them. The following week, it's the day before Halloween. It's the 30th, and it is our Halloween spooky special meeting of the year. We did something last year, which was Frankenblends, if some of you remember. This year, what we're going to do is Shane Ireland is coming back from SmokyPipes.com, and all of that scarecrow that went out is so that we can do a tasting of that. And once again, This means everybody but Mike. And talk about what went into that blend and how it tastes like Halloween. So those of you who are getting those packages, notice on the outside I've written, please try not to open until Halloween. You probably won't make it, but that's what those packets are for. So that's what's coming up. And I think that's all I know. So, like I said, we still have a bunch of time left in the meeting today. So let me throw it out one more time in case you have any questions. And that means you two guys over there on Facebook and YouTube about the Richmond Pipe Show or the factory tour or anything else like that. Tim, once again, you got to talk because otherwise it'll do the loop-de-loop thing.
Okay. Well, I have a question here or an observation. I just wonder, those guys that work in the factory, I wonder what their benefits are. Like, I wonder, do they get to take a tin home every week or something like that? Because that would be a great benefit. I don't know if you heard anything about that, or whether those guys smoke pipes, but it would be hard to be around all that tobacco all day. And if you're not a smoker, to not start. I don't know how you could do that.
That's a really interesting question. I confess I don't know specifically if they do or not. I didn't ask. But I will tell you that if you remember Per Jensen, when we had him on for our anniversary, that he said, we asked him, what tobacco do you smoke? What's your favorite tobacco? He says, anything made by McBaron because I get it for free. So I wouldn't be surprised if the guys at Sutliff had the same kind of thing. But there were plenty of people there who didn't smoke. Like there were people who worked there who were like, it was just a job to them. I'm pretty sure that there were several of us there at the Richmond Pipe Show who offered to switch jobs with them. I don't know if we had any takers.
Yeah, I have a question about because Sutliff is owned by McBaron. And McBaron's buyer, basically, for their tobacco is the owner of the company, Harold Halbert. So is the HH brand, that's the reason why they call it HH, because Harold Halbert is Harold Halbert's buyer for Sutliff, or Sutliff is just a processing part of the business?
I'm going to make up an answer because I don't know. But based on what Jeremy was talking about, they operate almost like two separate companies, two separate entities. Sutliff is an American distributor for all of the HH brands and the Amphora brands and the Seven Seas brands and all that kind of stuff, and McBaron. But they process and buy and package all of the McBaron brands in Europe, in Denmark, and then Sutliff does all this kind of stuff here in America. This is not uncommon for big international companies that they're the same company essentially. They're owned by the same people, but they have divisions that operate as if they were still very independent. I don't know, Miguel, if that answers your question or not. And by the way, that's a guess.
It's just like Altria. Altria is umbrella company, and they own many other companies such as Philip Morris USA, Philip Morris International, Nabisco, Kraft Foods, and a bunch of others.
Right. That's why my Oreos sometimes taste like Lucky Strikes, I think, right?
Yeah.
I don't know that we have tons of time for this other topic that we had prepared, but I think it's worth jumping in and maybe tossing about a bit, and then we can continue on in the following week. We were chatting last night, me and some of the other moderators, about the fact that every week we get together, and since this is the virtual pipe club, we talk about pipe stuff. We talk about tobacco blends and pipes and that kind of stuff. But I know for a fact that you guys have other things in your life that are your passions. For example, Steve Amos, is the what's your handle, Stephen? The golf maniac.
Golf junkie.
Golf junkie. See, I was close. And so his deal obviously is going out and hitting the ball around. And we were curious about what else drives it. We just have three rules, three non-topics: religion, politics, and guns. Otherwise, I guess porn is okay. But
I was
definitely top of my
wondering if
list.
we can talk about cigars, because I don't know if how many of us smoke cigars. I smoke cigars, and I really appreciate it. And we can talk about pipes and cigars and the differences or the common points that we find in cigar and in the pipe smoking. So I would really like to talk about them, cigars and pipe smoking. Are there cigar smokers here? I know that David is a cigar smoker. Are there other cigar smokers here?
Fadi, does it answer your question?
Yeah.
Quesada Oktoberfest anniversary. That's this year release.
Yeah.
Wow.
Show of hands if you're also if you're also a pipe
I'll be
cigar
hanging
smoker.
out with Raquel Quesada, daughter of Manuel Quesada. She works for the company as well. She's coming to New York.
Yeah.
That's actually a topic that we had considered. I think that's a great idea, Fadi. I want to bring in some guest speakers. I think we certainly want to bring in the guy from Warped if we can get him, and expand our conversations a little bit. What do you think?
I'm in.
That's a cool idea.
I think it's a very interesting. It's a very interesting topic. Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Stefano from Rome, Italy, and I want to try to explain the question. Who smoked the cigar crashed in pipe?
Oh.
In Italy is very frequently. I smoke Italy cigars Toscano, that's very strong, crashed in pipe. A lot of people in Italy make this. Yes. I don't know.
Yeah, Stefano, that's 200th anniversary Toscano case.
Yeah.
And I have that's Nobile, Extra Vecchio. My favorite, Classico. I love Toscanos. And I don't smoke any kind of aromatic tobacco, but I love Toscanello.
It's a very good choice, but it's a very strong choice.
Yeah. Well, actually, Garibaldi is pretty mild for Toscano. Extra Vecchio, yes, it's very strong, but I love that flavor, which reminds me of Perique.
But
that's with extra fermentation. It's amazing cigar.
We have a little problems with Toscani because it's a mode now to smoke Toscano. So we have a lot of different kind of Toscano that have been proposed with the aromatic flavor, chocolate or something like this.
Yeah, Aroma Anice is absolutely amazing. It's like Black Sambuca in the cigar.
I prefer.
Michael Capellini. Michael Capellini is a brand ambassador for Toscano cigars in US. Good friend of mine.
Yes, I think if you don't like cigars or you haven't liked them, you should try a Toscano because they're incredible, and it's a wonderful fermented Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken, leaf.
But you know the story. Toscano was born like a mistake. Because
when all tobacco got wet and they tried to dry it, it started fermenting because it was so wet. So they decided to build a fire to force dry it, and they had choice to throw it away, but Grand Duke of Tuscany wouldn't be happy about it. So they decided to use it anyway, and that's how Toscano was created. First Toscano cigar was rolled
You're really prepared about Toscano, like an Italian smoker.
I know that La Taquilla was a mistake.
I don't know this.
La Taquilla was a mistake.
I'd love to hear that story, please. Yeah.
Stefano, I'm from India.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you a particular question about this cigar, the leftover cigars which you crush and you put it in the pipe and smoke it. I am a smoker of cigars also, but my experience has been, as long as there's only one particular cigar which you can, blend with any other pipe tobacco. Like I always used to add up straight Virginias and the crushed cigars. It goes fabulous. But the moment I add a different cigar, the taste becomes horrible. Is there any specific reason why? I mean, more than one cigar can't be mixed up?
I can answer that question. Cigar is already a blend of different tobaccos. And it's created in the way to be balanced smoke. If you add other kind of tobacco, other kind of cigar tobacco, it breaks the balance. That's why in most cases it will not taste good.
But they blend very well with the pipe tobacco. But they blend very well with the pipe tobacco, especially Virginias.
Well, usually all cigar tobaccos go very well with Virginia. Because when Virginia is a base tobacco and cigar tobacco is a condiment. But when you just take cigar, ready cigar, it's already finished product. It's balanced for the right taste, right combustion. So if you add or remove something, it will be unbalanced and most likely will not taste well.
So, Stefano, I know that you had something to add there. I'm just going to toss it back to you, Stefano.
I think that Toscano is a simple way to crash cigar in pipe because Kentucky have no like cigar a great balance like Havana or like other kind of cigars. So it's easy if you crash it in pipe to find the taste of this kind of tobacco. But when you crash another kind of cigars, you crash the balance. But this don't happen in Toscano. Toscano is the same like in smoking cigar or smoking in pipe. Just in pipe became just a little bit stronger, but the taste for me remain the same. But I try with other kind of cigars from export cigars, not Italian, and change a lot. So the Toscano choice in pipe is a easy choice, but when you try to crash another kind of cigars is really another world. You destroy the balance of you destroy the work of the blender. But the making of Toscano is more simple. So you have not this kind of problem. I don't know if I have...
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Stefano. Also, only one Toscano cigar actually has a binder, Still Novo. All other cigars only have filler and wrapper. Wrapper at the same time works as a binder. And it's in all Toscano cigars, it's only one type of tobacco. They use both Italian and American dark-fired Kentucky, but it's still different varieties of burley tobacco.
Yeah.
So obviously, we have this is going to be a great conversation. We are heading towards the end here, so I want to get Tim in because he's been waiting patiently. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to have time to cover this question, but for the cigar smokers in our group, with pipe tobaccos, we have a range. We have Virginias, we have Burleys, we have aromatics, we have Englishes. We have these distinctive categories of tobacco, and I'm wondering, is it the same in cigars? Are there different variations?
Of course.
I'm sure there are.
It is. It definitely is.
Of course.
Hey, but I think it'd be great
it's even more detailed than pipe tobaccos, because in one cigar you can have 9 flavors in just one cigar, because you have the binder, you have the filler, and you have the
Stapper.
Yes. So with each third you have different flavors, 3 flavors. So for all the cigars you have 9 flavors. So it's very, very delicate, and you have to have a very delicate palate to distinguish after the 1/3 and the second third and the last third of the cigar. But I wanted just to say that when I personally do not like to put the end or the final half of the final third in a pipe to smoke it. Lots of pipe smokers and cigar smokers do it, but I find it very dangerous and not pleasant, because at the last third you have all the oil of the tobacco which condensed in the last part. So if you put it in the pipe bowl and you smoke it, you are just smoking the essence of the oil, and it's not the flavors of the tobacco. And I personally do not like it. When you cannot finish the cigar in your mouth, that means it's time to leave it to die.
Yeah, well, actually, there are some cigars which taste very well until the end. I
agree.
When I start burning my fingers and lips. But for a lot of cigars, like last...
the best one, for instance, is
unsmokable.
There is Bahike, which is great till the end, Bahike, and the H. Upmann. H. Upmann, you can smoke it to the end, but if you put it in a bowl, it condenses the oil, and there is no pleasure of tasting it with your lips.
But basic rule: you smoke cigar while it tastes good. If at the end it gets bitterness, unpleasant harshness,
you have to let it go.
I'm going to break in because
Dimitri and Fadi.
Hold on, guys.
One last question.
Hold on. I love this part. This now we're getting some life into this. But Kent's been waiting patiently to ask a question, and I just listening to that thing about the end and burning your fingers, and this is just all for everybody who lived through the 70s. That's all I'm saying. So Kent.
You need a clip or a spear. I hate to interrupt that conversation, a lively conversation, but I might have missed it. But we were in the plans. There was a tasting / blending experience for us. What's the status of that?
So we had Shane and I had we talked about this a lot because we just really wanted to give it a go, to have a more elaborate kind of tutorial about, like you read all these tobacco reviews and you hear guys watch their videos and whatever, and you think to yourself, I don't know what they're smoking. I don't like, what are those flavors? I taste a tennis ball maybe and some grass from the field. I don't know what else. This rich, deep, leathery. So Shane was going to come in and talk about how we discern stuff like that, but we couldn't quite make it happen. You might remember my failed magic tricks here in the studio. We could never get that. So the smaller version will take place on the 30th when we open up all those samples of Scarecrow, and then we'll sort of do a miniature version of that night. And but we'll also be talking about, like, how do you separate those tastes and those aromas in any blend? And so Kent, that's what we're going to do for that.
Yeah, that sounds good. I do a little bit of blending here, and so I saved samples of Virginia and a Burley and so on if we were going to do that. So I just had missed what the status was. So I'm looking forward to that.
Super. Well, I think I know what topics we're going to be heading into after the first of the year. So I'll start working on getting some guest speakers from the cigar world. And Dimitri, I'm going to be turning to you for some help, because I know that I think you're related by marriage to most of the cigar people. Anyway, so we're going to do that.
David, can I ask you a personal question? David, you are a cigar smoker. I'm curious to know, what's your favorite cigar?
I'm going to lose every friend I have if I tell you.
No, I don't think so.
No.
Come on.
Dutch Masters.
I like acid cigars.
Sorry, I didn't
ask what hallucinogen you like. What cigar you
no, that was a different question. That's for a different show.
That roach clip and that answer go hand in hand.
No, I said I like acid cigars. So from oh God, help me out here, because I can't the name of the grower that
I don't know them.
Is that one Drew Estate?
Drew Estate,
yeah.
Yes, Drew Estate.
Yes, acid is by Drew Estate, and they are flavored cigars.
Yeah.
You have to pay me a lot to smoke that cigar.
Yes, I told you I lost all respect. I was gaining tiny bit of respect in the pipe world until this moment, and then now it's all gone.
Fadi, you're not missing it.
Well, some people like it, and nothing's wrong with that.
Well, smoke what you like what you smoke, huh? That's the rule.
But I do enjoy all kinds of cigars. One reason I think why I like acid cigars is because they have a strong flavor. Like, they're like an aromatic, kind of the similarity between an aromatic pipe tobacco and they're coated. They're soaked in a sweet kind of flavoring. But I like strong tastes. I smoke Englishes and Syrians and Balkans because of that strong flavor and a little bit higher nicotine content. So I love Maduro cigars. I love Havanas.
Maduros. Woo!
Yeah, just about.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there are actually a lot of Maduro cigars which are very mild. So color wrapper doesn't always mean it's strong or mild cigars. There are some Claro cigars which are pretty strong. There are a bunch of Maduros that's very light. But if you like something strong with a lot of flavor, La Flor Dominicana, LFD, or Padron, or Agador Salif, they have a lot of cigars with those qualities.
All the Maduros I've ever smoked have always been pretty light.
Guys,
light and smooth.
Guys, I have a question. What about mild cigars like Filipinas?
I don't know.
Mild cigars, there are actually, Rocky Patel has some amazing mild cigars. Mild but very flavorful, like Edge Candela or Edge Connecticut. Mild but still have a lot of flavor. Also, that new company, Ferro Tego, they bought right to all the Nat Sherman cigars. So some of those cigars are very mild but still flavorful, like Metropolitan Host, which will be released again later this year.
But did any one of you try cigars from Flor de Filipina?
Well, the only Filipino cigars which I smoked were from 1990s, Fighting Cock, original one, before they were produced in Nicaragua, original one with the Bezuki wrapper. That's, I would say, medium to full cigar, relatively strong. There are milder ones I smoked from Indonesia. Sultan cigars.
They close. They close to Indonesia cigars.
Yeah, I know. And actually, most Filipino cigars use Indonesian tobacco. Most of them have either Sumatra or Bezuki wrapper, so flavors will be somewhat similar. But like Sultan cigars from Java, they are really high quality, amazing cigars. They're really good. Dos Hermanos, which is also Indonesian, and it uses both Dominican and Indonesian tobacco. It's not bad, but not really worth spending your money on if you can get better cigar.
I see. And another question. I'm sorry, David, I know we're short of time, but I was a little late. So we're talking about cigars. Did anyone had a luck to try Peterson cigars?
No.
Never had.
No.
Oh, by the way, Stanislav, if you are aware of Moscow Cigar Club, they have their own line of cigars which were made by Aganor Salif in Nicaragua.
Yes, I know. I'm aware because a friend of mine is a member of Moscow Cigar Club.
Yeah, and Terence Riley, who's now vice president of Aganorsa, is a friend of mine, and he's also related to my other good friend Manuel Quesada.
Yeah, see, as I said, I think he's related to everybody
I
in
had
the
luck.
cigar
I'm sorry, I had luck to purchase some Peterson cigars. They were 15 years old, and they were in humidor by 15 years. So I took one. I was like, I had luck to purchase some, one Churchill and two Toros, and I can say that that was very good experience to smoke aged cigars. Looks like they had Dominicana tobacco based.
Yeah, I had
when it comes to cigar aging, some cigars age really well, especially.
Good luck.
You get these guys talking about cigars,
ones
man.
usually don't age well.
Virtual Cigar Club.
The Virtual Cigar Club. Yes. Next week, the Virtual Cigar Club will take the place of Virtual Pipe Club, and we'll see you there.
I'll see you the weekend.
So this is what. Okay. Yeah. I think we've hit upon a good topic here. But as Stanislav pointed out, we are getting to the end of our time, and I only do this again because we go a couple of hours and we keep pushing it. Our wives and girlfriends and kids and whatnot, and even your cats are going to start complaining. So I do rush us out at this time every weekend, not because I don't want to hang out with you, but because I want to still sleep in my bed.
Okay, my half dozen of cats are very grateful to you.
All right. So here's the deal. This week's meeting of the Virtual Pipe Club is coming to an end, but that doesn't mean that the conversations come to an end. Please note, so we've got these recordings on the Facebook page, on the YouTube page. You can continue to make comments. And if I haven't said so already, by the way, guys, out there on the live stream, you could share these videos with other people to let them know that we meet every week and that we'd love to have them come and hang out with us as well. Next week, again, cross your fingers, Bill Furback from K. Woody will be here. And the following week on the 30th, Shane Ireland returning with the Scarecrow. And in the meantime, from all of us at Virtual Pipe Club, particularly the group that does the moderating, Tim and Miguel and David and myself, not political, but do whatever you need to do to keep yourself safe and healthy, all right? Wash your hands, do the shot, stay in the basement, wear a mask, whatever you need to do. Stay in your car and just roll down the window a little bit.
And revaccinate.
Yeah. So that's exactly what we want you to do because we love you and we want to see you back next week. All right?
See you guys.
All right,
Sounds good, guys.
Be well.
Ciao.
Good weekend.
Be well.
Everybody. Hey, everybody.
Bye.
Have a great
See you
day.
next time.
Peace. Take it easy.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
And it's because I want to show that one. Thanks for watching, everybody. We love you too. Peace.